Hi there guys, I hope you're well. My name's Chris Smith. I've been learning to play the saxophone for exactly 1 month, 31 days. So today, in this video, what I wanted to show you is how much progress you can make in learning to play the saxophone for a whole month. And so just because this is what I've done, you might be totally different to me. You might improve a lot more or you might not improve as much. We're all different, but this will just give you a little bit of an idea. So there's 3 lessons that I've learned over the past month while I've been doing this. I'm going to go through those 3 kind of key lessons with you, and then what I'm going to do is show you a video that I took of me playing my very first day, learning a couple of little very basic exercises, and then I'm going to show you a video that I've taken today, just of a song that I've been learning for the past 3 or 4 days, just to give you a bit of an idea as to what you can do in just a month. So to start off with, let me just explain the 3 key lessons, 3 things that I've learned over the past month, which I think was really, really important to me and really helped me. And I would certainly recommend that you do the same. So the first is to find a good teacher. I have a weekly lesson, just a 30-minute lesson with a local professional saxophone player and teacher. And the reason that I found that really, really helpful for me is firstly, just to kind of point me in the right direction right at the beginning. So on my very first day, in fact, the day before I bought this saxophone, it's an alto saxophone, it's a Jupiter Jazz 500, so kind of apparently a good student saxophone. But the day before I bought this, I went for a taster lesson with this teacher, just on one of his kind of student saxophones, just to make sure that it's something that I really wanted to do, which I kind of knew I did anyway, so that was really important. But then once I felt, I kind of got on with this guy okay, I then booked weekly lessons just so that he could point me in the right direction, go through a few exercises for me to do. And the key thing for me that I've learned is by going back to see him each week, he can correct any kind of bad habits or any mistakes that I might be making before they become kind of really bad habits. No, not really bad, but habits that I've been doing for so long, they become difficult to stop, if you see what I mean. It's like anything. If you do it over and over and over and over and over, it becomes really difficult to stop and do something else. So by seeing him every week, things that I'm doing wrong, he can correct. So that worked really, really well. And the other thing that he's taught me is, as well as learning to play the saxophone, I'm learning to read music from scratch. So I've never played any other musical instrument in the past. So reading music is another challenge for me that I'm having to learn at the same time. And after about 3 weeks, I thought I'd kind of just about cracked it because I've been doing the exercises that he'd been giving me. And I felt fairly confident that I was able to play the notes that I was reading on the music okay. When I went to the next lesson with him and we moved on to the next exercises, which wasn't a huge step up, but just a little bit different, a few changes, I really struggled to keep up with him in that exercise. And it kind of made me realise that actually, I'd become a bit overconfident, and I really needed to make sure that I was practicing not just playing the saxophone, but practicing reading music every day as well. Which brings me to my second point. So the first point, get yourself a good teacher, have a weekly lesson with your teacher. Second point, practice every day. So I'd read this a few times in a bit of my research before I'd even started. The recommendation is that you practice every day. So even if you can only do 20 minutes, 30 minutes every day, then it's much better to do that than think, okay, once a week on a Sunday, I'll practice for the whole afternoon. And various reasons for that. I think your learning becomes embedded a lot more when you're doing it little and often. And the other thing is, when you first learn to play the saxophone, one of the important things is your what they call your embouchure, which is basically your lips, your mouth, how you form your mouth around the mouthpiece. And that can be slightly strange, and it's quite tiring on your lips when you're practicing. So I find after say 45 minutes of practicing, my mouth and my lips become quite tired, and the quality of the work that I'm doing then goes downhill pretty quickly. So for me, doing half an hour once or twice a day if you can works much better than trying to do loads once a week. So point number 2, daily practice. And then the third and final point that I'm going to go through with you today is, don't just practice by kind of twiddling on or doing the exercises that the teacher's given you. You should have what we call purposeful practice. So what I mean by that is, have a routine that you go through every time you're going to do your practice. I mean, you might, if you're doing practices 2 or 3 times a day even, you can obviously split that up or do some extra bits in some of the other practices, but have at least one really purposeful practice session. And so for me, I do 5 different things every time I do a practice session. So the first thing is just a little bit of a warm-up. That's just kind of playing a few notes, just make sure that the reeds fitted okay and that I can, my breathing's okay. And then I do some long tones. The feedback that I got right at the beginning was your breathing is such an important part of being a good saxophone player and getting a great tune and everything. And so practicing long tones, which is just kind of not just blowing doot 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 little short notes, but going do, playing a long note, that you can hold for sort of 10, 15, 20 seconds is really important, because you're not just breathing in a shallow form, you're using your whole diaphragm and really using deep breaths. So I always do that next. So do practice some long tones. Then point number 3, so first is your warm-up, second is your long tones, third I then practice some scales. Now, because I'd never read music before, I didn't understand the importance of scales, and I'm not going to go through that with you today in detail, but practicing your scales, there's lots of different scales to learn. The major scales, there's 12 different major scales, and lots of minor scales as well, 3 different types of minor scales, all sorts of scales. But anyway, at the beginning, there are some simple scales that you can learn just on the basic keys of your saxophone, and learning those scales will really come in useful when it comes to learning songs later on down the line. So I always practice my scales as well. So that's the third one. Fourth one is I then do the exercises. So I've got a workbook that I go through with my teacher every week, and typically that workbook will consist of a number of exercises, just following a small tune that might only take you 10, 20, 30 seconds to go through, and I might have 5 or 6 of those that I'm practicing, and I will do each of those every week, every day, so that when I then get to my next lesson with my teacher, I'm kind of ready to move on to the next stage, as it were. So I then do my exercises, and then the last thing, number 5, so first is the warm-up, then the long tones, the scales, the exercises, and the last one is, this is kind of where the fun is really. So you're having a bit of fun, you're making some songs, try learning a song, noodling about a little bit, which is just kind of a little improvising within a scale, or practicing a short part of a song that you want to learn. And the songs are really, well, it's why I'm playing the saxophone, and I guess why you are as well. You don't learn to play an instrument just because you enjoy doing scales or the exercises. You want to actually create some music. And so by doing that at the end, you get all of the fun at the end, so you're looking forward to doing that. If you do the songs at the beginning and then you start to get a little bit tired, you might sort of lose the motivation to do the scales or the exercises. So that was it. So 3 key points for the first month that I've learned. So the first is get a teacher and do a lesson every week. Second is practice every day. And the third one is make sure you get the most out of that practice by making it purposeful. As I said, do those 5 stages: the warm-up, the long tones, the scales, the exercises, and then the fun bit, the songs, noodling about, a little bit of improvisation and so on, as you start to get more and more at it. So that's kind of what I've learned really in my first 31 days. What I'm going to do for you now is I'm just going to pause this and then show you what I did 31 days ago. So you'll see my very first exercise that I did then. So I'm going to stop this now and I'll be back in just a moment. Hi guys, hope you're well. Right, this is day 1 of my saxophone journey. I hope you love saxophone, because I've just started to get into it and I'm loving it already. And my plan is just to kind of record my progress over my journey. So literally this is day 1. This is my second-hand Jupiter JAS 500, which I've just bought today, and I'm so excited about it. So I've got some exercises. I had one 30-minute lesson a couple of days ago. Got some exercises I need to practice on, so I'm going to give that a go, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so exercise 1 is G. I'm having to learn to read music at the same time, so I apologise for being slow. So exercise 1 is G's and A's. G's and A's. No? It is B and A. Right, hold on. I'll be with you in a minute. B and A. Right. There you go, exercise number 1. Right, exercise 2 is, wait, hold on, that's A's and G's, A's and G's, right, hold on, that's A's and G's, right, hold on. There we go, that was exercise number 2. And exercise 3, now I'm going to have to split this into 2 parts because it's a bit more complicated. Exercise 3 is, starts off with every good boy. So B's and C's, right, B and C, B and C. Right, hold on. Second half is A's and C's, right, so that's A's and C, right. There we go, that's exercise 3, or the first half of exercise 3 anyway. That's as far as I've got so far. So I hope you enjoyed. Right, so that was day 1, as you can see, a little bit squeaky, and that was in my garage. The sound was a bit strange. I was in my garage. I've now been allowed back in the house, so I've been practicing in the house more. So the next thing is, I just wanted to show you a song I recorded earlier today, which was day 31, so a month later, so that you can see what the difference is between what I was doing at the beginning in day 1 and what I did 31 days later. So this is day 31. Okay, so hopefully you can see the difference there. For me, it's been just a fantastic journey. I can't believe that it's just a month gone, and I'm so looking forward to what's going to happen in the next month, 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, year. I think to be as good a saxophone player as I want to, it's going to be a lifetime's practice. I don't think you ever stop learning, and I'm just enjoying it so much. So just because this is what I've done, don't feel you'll do exactly the same. Just so that you know, I practice probably twice a day, occasionally if I can 3 times a day, for half an hour each time. So that'll give you a bit of an idea as to the commitment I put into it. If you've got more time and you can put more into it, then absolutely do that. If you enjoy it, then why not? And you might make a lot more progress than me. I think people will learn at different speeds. So don't feel that you'll be able to do exactly the same as me. You might do much better, you might not do as much. We're all on a different journey. But that should give you a really good idea. I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is how much progress can you make learning the saxophone in just 1 month from absolute scratch. I literally am an absolute beginner. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I would love to hear back your feedback, your own experiences, if you've kind of done the same journey as me. I'd love to hear that. Please comment below. And I'm going to be continuing to do daily videos for as long as I can. I'm really kind of excited in being able to look back at what progress I've made, and these little videos really help me with that. So if you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's Chris Smith Saxophone. There'll be a little subscribe button you can click on there as well, and then you can get notifications of all the little videos that I put up in the future. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Bye for now.